The message came through at 11:42 a.m., just as I was stepping onto the train at Clark and Lake. Unknown number. One photo. No caption. Just the image. Sarah, sitting in a corner booth at Café Bonheur, not far from the Loop. Her head tilted forward, smile soft, hand intertwined with someone else's across the table. A man. Early 30s, dark beard, no wedding ring. I didn't recognize him. But her hand, I knew that hand. I'd held it through childbirth. Through funerals. Through dinners that ended in silence. The caption arrived 6 seconds later. You should know what she does on her lunch breaks. I stood frozen as the train doors slid shut behind me. The motion of the train didn't match what was happening inside my chest. I stared at the image, the color already draining from my face as the metallic taste of the coffee I'd finished 20 minutes ago rose in the back of my throat. The rumble of wheels on track. The faint scent of someone's cologne. The buzz of life around me, all muffled beneath a sudden roar in my ears. I studied the photo again. The man's face was angled toward her, a smile mid-bloom. Sarah wasn't just there, she was leaning in. Open. Familiar. Her wedding band was on. That somehow made it worse. I didn't reply. Didn't call the number. Didn't text Sarah. I simply locked my phone and slipped it into my pocket. The rest of the train ride passed in a haze. I missed my stop. Doubled back on foot. At my desk, I sat through 2 meetings, nodded at the right times, answered emails with steady fingers. But inside, something had fractured with surgical precision. Sarah had been distant lately, but not alarmingly so. She'd been on her phone more, sure. Most people were. I figured it was work. Or distraction. I figured a lot of things. I remembered asking her once, about a new app one saw on her screen. Something with a blue icon and a name I didn't recognize. She laughed and called it some dumb journaling tool. I let it go. Now I knew it was a chat app. That afternoon, she texted me like nothing was wrong. Don't forget to grab almond milk on your way home. Love you. I stared at the screen. I didn't respond. I didn't go home right away, either. Instead, I walked. The wind had picked up by then, and the glass facades of the Loop shimmered with late autumn sun. I turned off LaSalle and wandered toward the Riverwalk, my coat pulled tight, my thoughts louder than the traffic. This wasn't a one-time moment. You don't smile like that in a cafe on a Tuesday afternoon unless it's something that's been nurtured. You don't hold someone's hand that way unless you've already held them in other ways. Still, I didn't let the rage in. Not yet. I'd spent years with Sarah, sharing a mortgage, a child, meals, laughter, quiet evenings spent folding laundry to the sound of the dishwasher. Whatever this was, it didn't erase all of that. But it rewrote it. Back at the office, I sat with the image again. Studied it like evidence. Sarah's left sleeve was rolled slightly. She was wearing her gold bracelet, one I gave her 3 anniversaries ago. The man's watch was turned inward, a habit I'd once teased Daniel about. But this wasn't Daniel. This was someone else entirely. Someone who existed only in messages I hadn't read, in lunch breaks I'd never questioned. That night, she greeted me with a kiss and asked how my day was. Busy, I said. She made pasta, scrolled her phone at the table, and laughed quietly once, at something I wasn't part of. And when she set her phone down, it was face down, as always. Before suspicion, there was structure. Sarah and I weren't dramatic. We were measured. Organized. A routine couple in a world of chaos. We met at a friend's New Year's Eve party in Lincoln Park, both of us bored, both of us holding empty glasses. We clicked over a shared love for oatmeal raisin cookies and urban planning. Within 2 years, we bought a modest 2-flat in Logan Square and spent the next 6 converting it into something warm. I sanded down the kitchen cabinets, she picked the tiles. I remember her crouched barefoot on the kitchen floor, drawing outlines of where the new backsplash would go. We're building something real, she said, eyes sparkling. She wasn't wrong. There were weekend farmers markets, slow Sunday mornings with cinnamon coffee, and long walks with Elise, our daughter, tucked into her stroller while we debated which trees in the park were worth photographing. We had a rhythm. Predictable. Quiet. And for a long time, that seemed like enough. But something shifted when Elise turned 5. Sarah's office switched to hybrid. That meant more flexibility, more alone time, more opportunities to work remotely at cafes downtown. I didn't think twice about it. She was productive. Attentive to Elise. Still made dinner 3 nights a week. But she also started checking her phone more. At first, it was innocent. Notifications. Instagram. Headlines. Then came the silence, her turning her phone face down at the table, slipping away during family movie night to just answer this message real quick. I remember one evening when she laughed at her phone mid-scroll. I looked up from grading papers. "What's funny?" I asked. She locked the screen. "Oh, just a meme Claire sent. Nothing you'd find funny." Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it wasn't. The phone habits grew stranger. She added a lock screen. Then Face ID. One night I asked her for the passcode to check the weather app when my own phone died. She hesitated before telling me. That was new. She also changed her wardrobe, not dramatically, just incrementally. New earrings. Different lipstick shades. Softer sweaters. She started wearing perfume again. A scent with citrus and sandalwood, sharper than the lavender she used to wear. I noticed. But I said nothing. Then came the receipts. One crumpled in her coat pocket, matcha latte, croissant, second coffee. All charged to a small cafe in Old Town, not near her office, not near home. "You get coffee downtown today?" I asked as she slipped off her shoes. She looked up too quickly. "Oh. Yeah. I stopped after a meeting. Just needed to reset." "Long meeting." She shrugged. "They always are." Still, I let it go. Until a Lyft charge popped up on our shared credit card account. $18.42 from a location near Café Bonheur, the very place from the photo. "Was this yours?" I asked, handing her my phone. She blinked. "Oh. Yeah. It must have been last week when Claire and I went out." But Claire, I remembered, had posted from a completely different bar that night, pictures I'd seen in her story while I put Elise to bed. I didn't challenge it. I logged the charge. I created a folder on my laptop titled Unsorted. It became a habit. Receipts. Screenshots. Message previews on our synced iPad. Once, I caught a glimpse of a chat notification while she was brushing her teeth, just a first name and a half sentence. "When I saw you today The message disappeared before I could read the rest. That night, I tested the iPad's sync data again and discovered Sarah had turned off all iCloud backups. A quiet erasure. I felt stupid. But mostly, I felt calm. Like a man watching a train switch tracks. One night, I sat beside her on the couch as she scrolled her phone, laughing to herself. "What app is that?" I asked. She turned the screen slightly away. "Just some journaling thing. The one with the blue icon." She nodded. "Yeah. Helps with stress." I knew she was lying. Because that icon belonged to a niche messaging app I'd once seen mentioned in a Reddit thread about discreet online affairs. Still, I nodded. "That's good. I'm glad you're managing things." She smiled. Kissed my cheek. Returned to her screen. Later that night, while she showered, I Googled the app. Then downloaded it. Then searched her username. It didn't take long to find it. Her profile photo was a cropped version of one she'd used on our shared cloud 2 years ago, same scarf, same smile. But here, it was just her. No Elise. No me. Her bio read, "Looking for connection." Not confusion. There were dozens of messages. Some flirtatious. Some deeply personal. Some dates and times arranged with a stranger who used only a first name, Noah. I took screenshots. I saved them. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I knew where that path led: denials, emotional deflection, and performances of guilt. What I wanted wasn't answers. I wanted control. I didn't sleep the night I read the messages. I lay next to Sarah in bed while she breathed evenly, one arm thrown across her stomach, her phone face down on the nightstand, screen dark. I stared at the ceiling, the words echoing in my head, sentences written to a man I'd never met but now knew better than I wanted to. You see me in ways he doesn't. Today was perfect. Next time, your place. I feel safe when we talk. I don't have to filter. The next morning, while Sarah and Elise ate breakfast, I pulled up my laptop and opened a blank document. I titled it, Timeline of Deceit. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger was a burst. This was architecture. Step 1 was a consultation. I called Dana Archer, a well-known family attorney in Chicago. She'd come recommended by a colleague whose own separation had been smooth thanks to her approach, clear, quiet, unshakable. We met in her office in River North. Her walls were lined with clean legal books and a framed diploma from Northwestern Law. No warmth. Just confidence. I laid out the basics. Not everything, just enough. Dana listened, then folded her hands. You're a stable parent. You've documented what's necessary. Now let's build forward. We created a plan. Custody structure. Asset inventory. Digital evidence management. You need to continue acting normal, she said. Don't give her anything that can be used against you, rage, neglect, instability. You're not trying to destroy her. You're trying to protect yourself and your child. That stuck with me. I wrote it on a note and taped it inside my desk drawer, control equals custody. That evening, I helped Elise with her homework and folded laundry with Sarah. She asked if I wanted to watch a movie. I said I had grading to do. She smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and opened her phone. I didn't look at the screen. I didn't need to. Step 2 was organization. I backed up all evidence, screenshots, timestamps, location histories, on 2 separate drives, one stored at work, one hidden behind the false bottom of a toolbox in the garage. I converted her messages with Noah into PDFs. I noted how her visits to Café aligned with his shifts. I even cross-checked credit card charges with the App Store, proving she'd paid for a premium subscription to the messaging app. I scheduled a meeting with a custody mediator for early positioning. Dana said it would show initiative and reasonableness in court, especially if things turned contested. She also advised a therapist, for Elise, and one for me. I chose Dr. Keene, a quiet man in his 50s who rarely interrupted. I told him up front, I'm not here for closure. I'm here for clarity. He nodded. Then let's talk about discipline, not punishment, but personal order. We met weekly. I didn't cry. I didn't rant. I processed. Out loud. Calmly. It helped more than I expected. At home, I kept everything stable. I still made coffee in the mornings. Still checked Elisa's backpack before school. Still asked Sarah how her day went, even when I knew she was lying. She started using headphones more. Leaving rooms mid-conversation. Claiming more wellness days, and taking her laptop to cafes, always conveniently out of Wi-Fi range, hence the lack of activity on her work dashboard. I logged everything. Meanwhile, I confided in 2 people, my brother, Nate, and my friend Serena, a paralegal I trusted. Nate was blunt. You're playing this like chess. I respect it. Serena was more thoughtful. You don't need to win. You just need to not lose. They kept me grounded. Gave me space to vent without unraveling. Then I began preparing the physical house. I moved important documents, birth certificates, insurance policies, Elisa's school records, into a locked drawer. I bought a second phone line, unconnected to our plan, for attorney and court communications. I separated our finances into a spreadsheet and tracked Sarah's spending habits. She'd recently started withdrawing more cash, unusual for someone who never carried more than $20. At night, I wrote letters to Elise. Not because I planned to give them to her yet, but because I wanted her to know, someday, that I acted with her in mind, not out of rage, but out of love. By the 3rd week, I was ready. Dana drafted the separation papers. We agreed not to serve them until I had everything positioned, Elise staying with her grandmother for a weekend, documents printed and prepared, Sarah unaware. Then something unexpected happened. I came home early one Tuesday, department meeting cancelled, and found Sarah on a video call. She was in the kitchen, laptop propped on a stack of cookbooks. She didn't hear me come in. "No," she said, laughing softly, "he's still at work. I've got an hour, maybe more." A pause. A giggle. Then, "I keep the phone face down so he doesn't see the preview bubbles." Smart, right? I stepped into view. She froze. The screen went black. She scrambled to close the laptop. "Oh, hey. You're home early." "Meeting got cancelled," I said evenly. Her smile was instant. "Too quick. Want coffee?" "I'm good." She left the room a moment later, mumbling something about checking the laundry. I looked at the still warm laptop. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. I had everything I needed. That night, I sent Dana a message. "Greenlight everything. I'm ready." Saturday arrived like a held breath. Elise was with my mother for the weekend, tucked safely into a schedule of pancakes, cartoons, and library visits. The house felt unusually quiet. No music. No distractions. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of old wood floors beneath me. At 4:17 p.m., Sarah walked in with a tote bag and sunglasses still on her face. She looked surprised to see me sitting in the living room, papers laid out neatly on the coffee table, her phone charger coiled like a snake beside them. "You're home," she said, hesitant. "Yep." She set her bag down slowly. "Everything okay?" I gestured to the couch. "Sit." Her eyes flicked toward the table, toward the documents, the printed screenshots, the familiar wedding photo that sat upright in its usual frame. Still intact. Still watching. She didn't move for a moment. Then she sat. "What's going on?" I reached forward and turned the wedding photo face down. The gesture was quiet. Unceremonious. But the sound of the frame meeting the wood echoed louder than any slammed door. "I know about him," I said. Her mouth opened. Closed. Then opened again. "Who?" I didn't answer. I simply slid the stack of paper toward her. The messages. The timeline. The receipts. The screenshots with Noah's name and her voice echoing from bubble after bubble. She scanned the first page. Then the second. Her breathing changed. She started. "It wasn't." "It was," I interrupted. "And it still is." She blinked. "You've been spying on me." "I've been protecting myself," I said. "And Elise." Her shoulders sank. Her hands curled around the edge of the couch. "You don't understand." "I understand more than you think. I understand what it means when your phone never faces up. I understand what it means when your lies get lazy." "Michael, please. I'm not here to scream. I'm not even here to argue. I'm here to end this with the same precision you tried to hide it." Silence stretched between us. "I thought we were happy," I said finally, not as a question but as a memory. "Not perfect, but committed." Turns out, I was the only one in the room. Tears began forming at the corners of her eyes. "It wasn't about him." "No," I said quietly. "It was about you." I pulled a second folder from the drawer beside me. "This is a separation agreement. It's been reviewed, adjusted, and is ready for filing. You'll have your copy by Monday. Our attorney will contact you by noon." "You already filed?" Her voice cracked. "I already decided." She leaned back like the couch was pulling her in. Her fingers trembled against the cover page. "And Elise. She stays with me. Full primary custody. You'll have weekends, holidays, everything outlined in detail. I've made sure she'll never be part of this chaos." Sarah wiped at her face, but the tears kept falling. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." "But you let it," I said. "And you never stopped." She opened her mouth again. But I stood. The conversation was over. I walked to the mantel and picked up the charger coil, the same one I'd seen move room to room with her, always a cord between conversations I wasn't part of. I placed it gently into the box with her name on it. One of many things she'd be taking with her. "You can stay here tonight," I said. "I'll sleep on the couch. But by tomorrow, I expect you to begin packing." Her voice was barely audible. "What do I tell Elise?" "The truth," I said. "That you got lost in something you couldn't control. And that I did what I had to keep her from being collateral." She nodded. "Once." Then I walked past her. Not because I wanted to leave her behind. But because I already had. The divorce went through quietly. No courtroom spectacle, no last-minute objections. Sarah signed the papers without resistance. We mediated every term in advance, down to pickup times and emergency contacts. I got primary custody of Elise. She kept the car. I kept the house. It was all very civil. Clean. Predictable. Just like our life used to be. The first few weeks after she moved out, the house felt colder, but not empty. There was less noise, yes. But also less tension. Less second-guessing. I could breathe again without wondering if a conversation was really a cover story. Elise adjusted faster than I expected. Kids are sharp that way. She never asked for details. She just started drawing more, sketches of birds and sunrises and trees with roots that reached all the way to the bottom of the page. "Why always birds?" I asked her one night as we sat on the floor with crayons spread around us like confetti. She shrugged. "They don't stay stuck." I smiled. "No, they don't." Week by week, I built us a new rhythm. We started doing pancakes on Tuesdays, just because. Sunday walks in the park turned into photo scavenger hunts. I taught her how to tie her shoes the old-fashioned way, no bunny ears, just a loop and pull. She liked the challenge. One night, I found the old wedding photo tucked in a drawer. I didn't throw it away. But I didn't keep it out either. I placed it in a small box of things for Elise to find when she was older, if she ever wanted the full picture. Next to it, I placed the old phone charger. Not out of sentiment. But as a reminder of what I'd learned, some connections aren't worth plugging back in. With the house quieter, I started drawing again. Pencil to paper, nothing digital. It began with birds, Elisa's influence, and turned into sketches of windows, hands, doorways. I hadn't drawn in years. Not since college. Sarah used to call it a distraction. Now, it was recovery. One evening, I posted one of my sketches online with a short note. Sometimes the worst message isn't the one you read. It's the one you never received because someone chose not to send it. The post gained traction. A few comments. Then a private message from a man in Minnesota: "Your words helped me through something similar. Thank you." So I made a habit of it. I started a blog, Unread Messages. I didn't use names. Didn't tell stories I didn't own. I just shared pieces of what I'd learned, about betrayal, fatherhood, silence, healing. By the end of the first month, I had readers from 5 countries. I wasn't rebuilding a life. I was building something better. One spring morning, Elise and I went back to Café. I hadn't been since the photo that started it all. We sat by the window. Shared a croissant. Colored a napkin into a tiny flag that read, "Just Us." She waved it like it meant something. Maybe it did. On the way out, she pointed to a man at a corner table typing on his phone. "That's how Mom always looked," she said. Like she was far away, even when she wasn't. I didn't correct her. Didn't defend. I just took her hand. Outside, a breeze lifted the edge of her scarf. She smiled into the sun. "Race you home," she said. And I did. Because for the first time in a long while, I knew exactly where I was going.